Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Virgo. So, Virgo, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, Virgo, you have a very interesting but also challenging reading today because I feel like you have, and you know that you have to go back to a specific moment in time. And I'm getting very particularly the month of September with your reading. So, somewhere in between now and September, maybe from this year, maybe from last year, maybe, you know, uh, at some point in your life when something happened that was specifically remarkable from the month of September, and for some reason you wish you didn't have to go back to that memory, but there is something that it's not that it's holding you back, but it's preventing you from exploring some sort of freedom that you haven't fully experienced, at least not with the potential that you know that you carry within you. So, we're beginning here with, this come back to the past card, which is the Six of Cups. And I know that this card, it came in a recent reading talking about not looking back to the past. But today for you, Virgo, it wants to go back to the past. And it's interesting because the Nine of Wands right beside it is the card that is talking about this dreadful individual path that it seems like you cannot run away from, you cannot escape. So it's almost like you're trying to postpone this, you're trying to not necessarily ignore it, but I want to say that with the Nine of Wands, it's like you'd rather just keep on moving forward, even though it can be very slow or very challenging, than to go back to the past, right? But that's the thing, it's like the more you dread this going back to the past, it's like the more challenging it will become further down the line, right? And I feel like the reason why there is this dread or there is this reluctancy, um, sorry, my voice has been awful. I have been sick this past week. But anyway, so Virgo, the Queen of Swords here is wanting to be the thing that you are going back to retrieve. And I want to say it has to do with an idea, a specific idea that it might have come somewhere in between now and September, as I mentioned, just because the Six of Cups to me, and maybe I should have said that in the beginning, but this card to me was bringing that music, that song, remember the first day, the 21st day of September, right? So something about the month of September that is important for you to remember, something that was relevant, that came to your mind, that crossed your mind, but somehow you thought it was too foolish, you thought it was too naive, you thought it was too um it's like too childish, too it's like it didn't hold the, it's like the energy that would require some sort of like deeper thought, right? It's like maybe you didn't have the same security or the same clarity or the same certainty that right now I feel like, knowing that you have to go back to retrieve that thought, retrieve that foolish idea that you had in the past. It's like right now it seems more certain that that was important, even though back then it felt like you were, it was almost like the sense of the fool being this this lightweight traveler, right? The one that has no baggage or no luggage, right? So the need to leave behind stuff that didn't seem so important at that time. So you thought that perhaps that wasn't important, but now remembering that there is something missing from back then, that you need to go back, even though you're just, it's like you're just dreading it. It's like if it was up to you, Virgo, I can feel the energy here. It's like it's very slow moving. It'd rather just not go there. But it is significant, right? It's almost like there is some sort of exclamation point coming from the Queen of Swords that wants to tie back to the Fool. So maybe a moment where you thought, it was a beginning, a new chapter, a new adventure unfolding, and you had to leave everything behind because you couldn't take, a lot of baggage from the past, right? So it's interesting because back then it's like you were trying to get rid of stuff from the past, but you left something that you didn't consider much at that time. You didn't give yourself like a second thought on what you were leaving behind. So this past that we're talking about that you need to go back right now, it doesn't feel like lifetimes ago. It feels like it's a more recent past. Nevertheless, it's like go back there, right? And we are in retrograde phase, right? Mercury in retrograde, Mars is about to go retrograde as well. So there is this retrieval that is significant, and the more you dread this, the more you postpone this. It's like the more you're going to just postpone your own freedom, right? Because I feel like back then you had a feeling that it's like you were leaving behind everything that was preventing you from being free, but somehow right now it's like you don't feel um this freedom. It's almost like there is a missing piece that doesn't allow you to fully free yourself from the past. So there is like that it's like that uh memory, right, nagging on you, or at least there, right, just nonstop running around your mind. So the exclamation point is saying, go back to the past. There is something that is supposed to free you from a time that you were freeing yourself already from so much from your past. But this thing that you're retrieving is meant to uplift you with a Three of Cups. So you see here how we have, half of this. So it's almost like you have come a long way from the moment that you had this idea, from the moment that you initiated this new journey, this new path. But somehow it's almost like you have forgotten your friends, or you have forgotten like the relationships, or like the nutrients, right? It's like the things that are nutritious to you. It's like the thing that feed your soul. It's not like feeding your body per se. It's more like feeding, it's like your zest for life, your ability to go for adventures, or um it's like your motivation, right? Especially because here we have Three Cups, and here we have, the three sides of this hat, which it's almost like the Fool is a little bit out of breath, or out of fresh air. It's almost like it needs upliftment, it needs encouragement, it needs, the friends there to say, it's like go for it, it's like you can do this, right? It's like the passion, or it's like that little push, right? So you seem to have left that behind, or it's almost like you left without saying goodbye, perhaps. Not as in like a dramatic scene. It's just that you forgot to say goodbye, or you forgot to express how much you miss them, right? It's like now that some time has passed, it's like you have walked half of the path, right, from that moment. It's like when you look back, when you go back, and when you retrieve the sense of, it's like you're going to recall how excited you were for this, but you're going to recall who was there behind you, or who was there just encouraging you to go for it, right? And the reason why there is this exclamation point is because I feel like, together with this idea, together with this sense of freedom, it's like you're going to be reminded. It's almost like you're going to remember who was there with you, and they're going to just illuminate your path with the sun. So it feels like there is this retrieval, there is this going back. It's not necessarily going back down memory lane, because it's almost like you have to go back to a specific path, to a specific place where you had this really big idea of moving on to a new phase of your life. It seems like something that only you could do for yourself, but you weren't by yourself when you made that decision. And that's the reason why it's important that you go back and you are with them again. It's like they're here to illuminate your path. They're not here to, it's like they're here to reiterate the fact that you're not alone, right? Even though when you feel like you have to go back, it's almost like maybe there are old memories, right? Things from the past that you did let go of, that you feel like you're going to re-encounter, right? And that's going to be a little bit challenging. Maybe you expect that to be challenging. But the moment that you go back and you retrieve whatever idea you need to retrieve, you recall a moment of freedom that was encouraged by friends or family, or whomever is there cheering for you. It's like you feel like it's like your soul is illuminating again. It's like everything that fed your soul is like it's going to again be full of light, right? So, but the interesting thing about this sun is that it feels like there is this Russian roulette. It's like it's almost like a one in a million type of chance that you're actually going to feel like this works, right? Because, and maybe the thing about the Russian roulette is because it's all the expectation before you travel back to the past, before you go back to this moment, maybe back in September, and remember the idea that started this whole new journey, that now it feels like you are a little bit down the line, in it, but it's almost like there is something that you forgot and you need to remember, and it has to do with maybe something that somebody said to you that you, at the time, you didn't make much of it, right? It's like it's almost like those types of less goodbyes that you don't say much. There is no need to say much. There's just like the exchange of love, and just like cherishing this moment after knowing that you're going to embark on a journey, and maybe you're not going to see them, but now that you're back with them, or at least you are expecting to find them again, it's almost like, how is it going to go? It's like you don't know, because maybe you haven't seen them in a while, right? Maybe you don't remember what they said. Maybe you don't remember how they're going to react when they see you, right? It's almost like you were the one who left, Virgo. That's the feeling that I have, because it's almost like maybe you were part of a group, but then it's like you wanted to leave, right? But it's like either way, because remember the connection of the threes, right? It's like they were always there with you. So no matter how light your baggage was, right? Even though you left behind even more so than you thought, that now you're coming back to retrieve what is important. It's almost like, remember that you didn't forget about them. You only thought that you forgot about them, but they're here to not only remind you of that, but it's almost like give you another chance, right? It's almost like a new departure. It's like a new, it's not a completely new adventure. I want to say it's like you're going back to the adventure that you set out in the first place, but it's almost like now is for good, but in a good mood. It's like you're going to leave not feeling like all of this dread, right? Not feeling like you have forgot something, not feeling like didn't do everything that you had to do to say goodbye, right? So, but this Russian roulette, it's almost like all of these open possibilities, because I'm seeing these as like open doors, and it's almost like you don't know how it's going to go once you leave again, right? Because you left already. And it's almost like if you have to come back, maybe it's like maybe you're dreading the fact that they could feel like you coming back means that your journey didn't go all that well, right? But they're happy to see you. I don't feel like they're going to judge you, or they're going to um, like point fingers or criticize, or it's just your expectation, right? But the thing is, among all the possibilities, it's like the best case scenario happens with the emperor. So the emperor here is just talking about like this abundance, right? It's like whatever option this Russian roulette, this next journey, the it's almost like the continuation of the journey, right? It's almost like you went away, now you have to come back, but it's almost like this second chance, this second, it's almost like you're having the chance to say goodbye when the first time you thought that you had to let go of so much that you didn't even say goodbye, or that you didn't even remember something that somebody said on your way out. And now is the time for you to remember that, right? Even though you don't know exactly how that is going to go. And it's almost like you don't have to worry about that. It's almost like just pay close attention with this exclamation point. Pay close attention to whatever your friends are saying, because they are here to illuminate your path. And because of that, it's like whatever happens is going to be the ideal situation, right? It's like you're going to be crowned with honors, right? It's almost like your friends are happy that, they get the second chance to say goodbye to you. And it's almost like maybe the first time they didn't have the chance to say their goodbyes with this type of very honorable gesture, right? It's almost like they're here to say, you're no fool. You aren't this childish, person that is running away or whatever you thought. It's like that was not the idea that you passed to them. On the contrary, it's almost like they're so proud of you. It's like they see you as like a reference, right? It's like you are the one that they look up to. So I don't see why you were dreading this so much, Virgo. It's like there is no need. There is no need. That's so intriguing to me, because maybe this reading is for that purpose, because it's like before you go back, before you meet these ones again, it's almost like you're dreading this. It's almost like do you feel like this is like a step backwards in your path of freedom? I do feel like it's actually just a misunderstanding in your own mind, and maybe that's the reason why you need to retrieve this thought. It's like there is no stepping backwards. It's like you're always free to go, but it's almost like there is a blessing that these ones are here to remind you. It's almost like they're here to remind you of like how big you are, how it's like how capable you are, how abundant you are. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're still a little bit reluctant. The more I dive into this Nine of Wands, it's almost like you're just dragging your feet. It's like you don't want to go back there. But I feel like this is the encouragement, right? Not just from me and from the reading, but like your friends are here saying they're going to be proud of you to come back again. It's like, and have another chance to just hug you goodbye, and send you your way, but not as a fool, but rather as the emperor, right? The one who deserves to continue this journey with honors. So, Virgo, I am going to pull more cards to see where this wants to go, and also I'm going to pull from the astrological rooms in the extended reading. So, if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye.